Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
And welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I am joined by the Artemis to my Parzival. He's back, Mr. Eric Kniss.
H, if anything, I guess.
You're just about as sexy, let's be honest.
As H or Artemis?
Why not both?
Why not both? Yeah.
Why not both?
Why not both?
And on this episode of the Kulturecast, we are talking about the second Steven Spielberg film in the span of 1 year, his adaptation of Ernest Cline's Ready Player One.
Wow. Wow, Stevie.
My name's Wade Watts. My dad picked that name because it sounded like a superhero's alter ego, like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner. But he died when I was a kid, my mom too. And I ended up here. Sitting here in my tiny corner of nowhere. There's nowhere left to go. Nowhere. Except the Oasis. A whole virtual universe. Let me take you on a trip around the world and back. People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do. And you won't have to sit still. But they stay because of all the things they can be.
Can you feel this?
Yeah. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything. The Oasis was the brainchild of James Halliday.
Hello. If you're watching this, I'm dead. I created a hidden object, an Easter egg. The first person to find the egg will inherit $500 billion and total control of the Oasis itself.
Who is this Parzival, and how the hell is he winning?
Find him. This isn't just a game. I'm talking about actual life and death stuff.
The Oasis, the world's most important economic resource. It's nothing less than a war for control of the future.
Welcome to the rebellion, Wade.
Like many of you, I only came here to escape. But I found something much bigger than just myself. Are you willing to fight?
Help us save the Oasis.
All right, Eric. So, like I mentioned, second Steven Spielberg film in 1 year, directed by him, written by Zach Penn and Ernest Cline, who wrote the book that the film is based on. Film stars Tye Sheridan as Wade Watts, a kid in Columbus, Ohio, who is trying to gain control over a giant internet network, social network, I guess, where you can be whatever you want, called the Oasis.
It's kind of like The Matrix.
Yeah, but stupider.
Yeah, it's like The Matrix meets Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's like World of Warcraft meets The Matrix. Like you're choosing to be in the Oasis. Yeah. And the Oasis's creator created 3 tasks that once he died, those who completed the tasks could gain control of the Oasis and do with it as they please. Ben Mendelsohn plays Nolan Sorrento, the head of IOI, a company looking to take control of the Oasis. So, Eric, having both of us read the book, what did you think of the book and the film and how they work together and if they work together?
I was a big fan of the book. I read it a couple years ago and I really liked it. It's Willy Wonka meets The Matrix, essentially. And I think it works. Like, the book is really, really, really heavy with references, pop culture stuff and, everything from music to video games, TV to old computer models, and it gets really, really nerdy at times, which some people get bogged down by. And I, at times, would still, just be like, oh my God, okay, we get it. Like, the author, Ernest Cline, paints a really, really specific picture, which I like and I don't like for sort of the same reason. It's nice to have something where you get sort of you're almost directly in the spot that Ernest Cline wants you to be in because he's being so specific about everything. But at the same time, it gets pretty redundant and sort of like overly explanatory at times. It's to the point where like there's still plenty for you to fill in with your imagination because this world is, endless and gigantic. But I could see where it could be, a little tiresome with, the references that are on every single page of the book. But overall, I really like the book. And I actually really like the movie, too. And the movie is so different from the book. It's the only thing that's the same are the names of the main characters and the basic premise. Like, everything else is different. There are some nods in the movie to things that happened in the book, but...
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, your wonky yet affable host, Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small, and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
I am willing to go out on the limb to say that almost nothing that happens in the book happens in the movie the same way.
No, and some of the things in the book that are expanded or condensed down significantly obviously for ease of pace and time. So I think it's fair to say from here on out we're going to talk spoilers. I don't know how we couldn't.
Yeah, it'd be impossible to talk about the movie and the book or any of this stuff without spoilers. It's like the whole movie. If you talk about any part of the movie or the book, it's a gigantic spoiler. I mean, for one or the other.
So I'm going to be honest. I watched the film obviously last week, opening day, and I read the book last week in one day on Monday, and I think the book is mediocrely written youth adult fiction. It's not great. I mean, Ernest Cline is not a very good writer. I think he's an okay writer. I think he uses a lot of the pop culture references as crutches in a story that's otherwise kind of unimaginative and rather just dystopian world. Kid has to save it. I mean, it's not like we've never seen these before. This whole subgenre of these youth adult books. And so I personally think it's a youth adult book. I think it's a kind of an immature kids book with some references that only adults would get. That being said, I think it worked for me that the movie was not a direct adaptation of the book, because the movie is big and stupid. I mean, it's a fucking stupid movie.
It's definitely big and stupid.
This movie is not trying to do anything serious with any of the subject matter that it's touching on, and it touches on some stuff that is kind of relatable, the constant use of technology in your everyday life, replacing your everyday life. I mean, if you own a cell phone, that's, everyone's always on their cell phone. So you could look at it that way. But this movie's not trying to have an in-depth conversation about that. This movie is literally just how many fucking references can we throw into one scene and how much CGI can we use? Because this movie is almost all CGI and it's just references galore.
This movie could be in contention for best animated picture.
Pretty much. I mean, it's got maybe 15, 20 minutes of in-world stuff with the actual actors. The whole it is akin to those all digital performance films. I'm talking about Polar Express.
Oh yeah, sure.
Stuff like that, or Avatar. I mean, most of Avatar was digital performances.
Yeah.
But this is this kind of gets away with it because it's in the Oasis, a video game.
Right, yeah. Everything important that happens in the digital world in the Oasis.
But my issue with the book being just heavy on the references every other sentence is kind of a really mainstream reference to. It's a lot of the stuff in the movie is pretty mainstream. He digs deep a little bit in the book. For the most part, these are all pretty mainstream references. The book is always just heavy with them. In the movie, it's heavy with them too, but because they're presented in two different ways, it's not and then I walked over to this thing and saw all these Master Chiefs running up this hill. It's just, you just see it in the movie. And so
right, exactly.
Seeing is better than listening to Will Wheaton in a monotone voice narrated in an audiobook.
Sure. Yeah. The seeing is definitely better in this movie. It's one of the things that works a lot better in the movie than it does in the book. So the whole heavy-handed explanation of all the references that are happening, describing when he mentions a ship, he always has to sort of either go... he doesn't just say a ship flies down. He's Serenity from Firefly, flies down or whatever. And everything that he talks about has the, this is this from this thing that is now coming in, which in the book can get pretty tiresome reading it or listening to it or whatever. But in the movie, it just happens. You don't you're not thinking about it. You're not told that it's Serenity. You just see it and you're oh shit, that's from Firefly. And you're oh shit, that's from Voltron. Oh shit, that's fucking Spawn. Oh shit, this is Master Chief or whatever. So it's you just see all of that stuff. And this is definitely even though it's a big dumb movie, I'll probably end up watching this movie a bunch of times when it comes out on demand or whatever, just to try and catch all the weird little references that are hidden in the background of it or whatever, just because it's that kind of thing.
But isn't it kind of disappointing though that this is a Steven Spielberg movie?
It didn't feel like a Steven Spielberg movie.
That's my point. Isn't it kind of disappointing that this is probably the only other Steven Spielberg movie we're getting this year? This movie is fun. It's dumb as hell. It shouldn't be taken seriously, but I'm having a hard time believing this is a Steven Spielberg movie because what did he direct, like 10 minutes of it? So much of it is just in the goddamn computer and like all CGI.
Yeah. And you touched on something that I've definitely been thinking about because I've been rereading the book after I watched the movie, is there's nothing, like there's no weight to anything that happens like in the movie. Like I didn't care about any of the characters enough to like be like, oh shit, no dude, don't do that, you're gonna die, or like, oh shit, these guys are in trouble, like, oh no, the bad guys are gonna fucking win. It was just like I was just watching it just for the sheer entertainment of it. Like I was not invested in any way, shape, or form in any of the characters, and that I think is the part of the book that's a lot more effective for me, at least, is because they can spend the time to really like get deep into, and it's told from the perspective of Parzival or Wade Watts, from his character. So you get to really get deep into what the fuck this kid is going through and how he's dealing with all of this stuff. And, you know, this sort of the band of the high five or whatever, as they search for the, you know, egg sort of separately and then kind of together at the end. But yeah, in the book, I think it works a lot better just because I actually cared about what was happening.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
I actually felt the weight of the universe more in the book than I did watching the movie. Like watching the movie, I was like, oh yeah, this is just big, stupid spectacle, you know, that's just like fun. It's popcorn, you know, you just like go to the movie and you just chug a bunch of beers and eat some popcorn and, you know, smoke some fucking weed, like, you know, whatever. It's just like a good time.
But, you know, the thing is when I walked out of this movie, you know, I enjoyed it, I appreciated it, but ultimately it left me feeling empty. I mean, it's no substance, right?
Yeah, I didn't walk out of the movie going like, man, I'm really going to be thinking about the message of this movie for like the next like 24 hours. The only thing that I thought about was like, all right, now that I watched this movie, I'm going to turn to the person I watched the movie with and just go like, okay, did you catch this? Did you see this? Did you like, what did you think of this? Like,
and I think some of that is due to the fact that, like you mentioned, the characters in the movie are all rather one-dimensional.
Everybody is, even the main fucking character.
Well,
like,
in the book, he's
Wade
not.
Watts.
I mean, in the book, he's a little bit more fleshed out, but he still isn't. Like his journey is not the one I care about. But in the movie, it's just blank slate. Tye Sheridan is. I'm not gonna blame him, but man, his role in this film as the main character is beyond forgettable.
Yeah, he's not anything in this movie, and nobody is anything in this movie. They tried to flesh out the character of Artemis in the movie by giving her this sort of like leader of this rebellion sort of thing that like was nowhere in the book, but I was okay with it. I was cool with it. I was like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, all right, you're gonna give this badass female character sort of like a badass like Princess Leia type, you know, role where she's like a leader of a resistance in the real world, like fighting against IOI in the real world so that they don't take over the Oasis. Like, okay, that's kind of a cool side plot thing. But even though they added this whole other section to her story, like, I still didn't care. So I still didn't give a shit. Like, she's just there so that Wade, like 20 minutes into knowing this person in real life, just professes his love to her or whatever, which felt really sort of like forced, and just it felt like it happened too fast in the movie. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is like the third scene that she's even in and you're already professing your love to her? Like, what the shit, dude? Too soon.
Well, didn't you also like how in the book, both of their characters are supposed to be like, Wade Watson's supposed to be like kind of like an out of shape, ugly guy.
Yeah, who gets in shape like eventually. And
she's supposed to be like a shorter, curvier girl.
Yeah, and they mention that several times in the book.
Right,
like,
because obviously Ernest Cline probably based the character off of himself, of Wade Watts, and the character of Artemis off of his wife.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I've never seen him or his wife, but
well, he's a short, frumpy, fat guy. Yeah, and in the movie, it's like these two good-looking people, and oh yeah, she has a port wine stand on her face, but come on.
Yeah, that was the person I went and saw it with. She was like, during the movie, when you see her face for the first time, she just went, oh yeah, because she's so self-conscious because she's super pretty, but has a birthmark over her one eye. Like, come the fuck on. And I was just like, wow.
You're so ugly.
I was like, holy shit. Like, it's just the cop-out. Like, they can make any good-looking person have a complex because they give them a big birthmark on their face or some shit. And, that's it. Like, I mean, I don't want to belittle people who have, birthmarks or anything like that or whatever. I don't know what it's like to live with that, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's a total Hollywood cop-out, and I think it was bullshit, and I think you could have, like, either cast somebody else or been like, hey, maybe eat a few donuts, like, before we film this movie, because, like, you're supposed to be, like, a gamer person, and you're living a very sedentary lifestyle. You're like,
nah.
I don't know. But they're only in the real world for, like you said, 20 minutes of the movie, so, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
But it is a cop-out. And it is a cop-out. And that, again, a lot of this criticism comes from the fact that we've read the book.
Sure.
I mean, no one would know that Wade Watts in the movie, played by Tye Sheridan, is played by Tye Sheridan, a good-looking actor. They wouldn't know that in the book he's like supposed to be like this overweight, fat gamer kid.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'll give him kudos for like not casting a straight up pretty boy. Tye Sheridan is not your quintessential like pretty boy, like teen, actor guy.
But guess what? It doesn't matter.
But I'm glad they didn't go in that direction. So,
but it doesn't matter though, because they don't give him anything to do anyways.
Yeah. And that's not his fault. That's just
that's not his fault.
That's just the writing and the directing of the movie. It's just there's not a lot to go on.
And it's talking about wastes of talent. Ben Mendelsohn, like his character,
my God.
His character as the villain in the movie is given more to do than the book than the villain in the book. But
he's
still
the best
not
actor in this whole fucking movie because he's like actually given the most acting to do.
I think Mark Rylance was pretty good, but like the whole detached weirdo genius is kind of played out.
Yeah, I liked his portrayal of fucking Halliday, but it was definitely like unexpected. That was like one of those things where me reading the book and then me watching the movie, my interpretation of how he was in the book is so different than how he was played in the movie that I was a little bit taken aback at first, but
well, similarly to the role of Ogden Morrow that Simon Pegg plays, he's essentially in the book, he's mentioned as like a Steve Wozniak, like a short, fat guy with a beard, like a beard and a mustache. And in the movie, it's Simon Pegg doing an American accent. And not well.
Og is given little to nothing to do in the movie, and he actually plays like a very large role in the end of the book.
Well, that's because in the book, they're not all in the same fucking city at the beginning of the...
Yeah, which I also thought was like strangely coincidental that like everybody just... You're playing this huge, massive multiplayer online game, essentially, where if you have ever played an MMO of any type... You know that the chances that you are playing with people that are in your same city are pretty freaking low. At any time, unless you're playing with people that you know, you're probably not playing with people from the same city. I know, like, I've played games where I've played with people on a regular basis who, nobody lived in the same fucking city unless they knew each other. I was playing with people in Australia and people on the East Coast and, people in other cities on the West Coast or whatever. And somehow all of these people are all in the same city, like this entire movie, for no reason at all.
It's that delicious, delicious plot convenience.
I know, it's so stupid, which they don't make the mistake of doing in the book. And I understand why they make a bunch of excuses and plot conveniences in the movie, because you've only got 2 hours to tell this story that is a very complex story. Even taking out all the fucking references, like if you just cut out all the like visual references and cues that the book has, the story still like going through all of the keys, and then there is the whole thing of the gates after the keys, which they completely took out of the movie also. It's complicated. And it would take a long fucking time. And then there's like long sections like where nobody finds anything. And it's like months of people searching for the next clue or whatever. And people fall out of touch with each other and, you know, whatever. Hearts are broken and, you know, boners are crushed and whatever. But they just skip all that in the movie, and like everything happens extremely quickly. And I don't know what the timeline is supposed to be like in this movie, but it seems like from beginning to end, everything happens in the span of like a week.
Yeah, no, for real. It's very condensed.
And in the book, like everything happens over the course of like a year.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's about right. I don't know. Again, like most of my issues with all of this boil down to it is just a goofy movie that they didn't put a lot of time into doing anything with character development or anything like that. It was all about just exploiting as many references as we could. Does that make sense? And so that's what a lot of the movie boils down to.
There's a lot of the same references. Like, I saw a lot of
Overwatch characters over and over and over again.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things where I was like, okay, we get it. Like, you could afford to pay for this reference. And then, like, maybe there was another reference, like, that they wanted to get that they couldn't get, so they couldn't.
Well, let's not forget, Spielberg also said he didn't want to do any references to his own stuff.
This movie is full of references to his own stuff.
No, because technically he didn't direct Back to the Future.
But Rexy?
Okay, well, that's one.
Okay. There's an E.T. reference in there.
Is there?
Yeah. Did he do... There's a bunch of Indiana Jones references, especially... This is the other thing that I really liked about the movie. The sort of like non-specific thing that I liked about the movie that you just couldn't have in the book, besides the shown and not told aspect that you can only have in a movie. The other thing that you can only have in a movie is the soundtrack. And the soundtrack to this movie is also chock full of references the entire time. So there was two that I like latched onto more than anything, besides like the extremely obvious ones that happen. There's a Rocketeer reference in the music in one of the scenes. God, I forget which scene it was. But it was crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen The Rocketeer, but I watched that movie a bunch when I was a kid. And
I don't know if I've ever seen The Rocketeer.
I mean, dude,
Let's just
I don't
let that
know.
one sink in. Yes, I have. Yes, it's my favorite comic book movie. So
okay, yeah,
but yes, I know what
amazing.
I remember what you're talking about. Yeah,
right. And the second that music came in, I was like, oh my God, The Rocketeer, this is amazing. And then at the very end, they also do sort of like an homage to Indiana Jones and Last Crusade. Like they have a sort of Indiana Jones, Last Crusade sort of like ish. It's like basically a full on ripoff of that. And at the same, like, you know, it instantly brought me back to Indiana Jones. I was like, holy shit, like, wow. So that's another cool aspect of the movie that you just can't have in the book.
Right.
In the book, he's constantly saying, like, I was playing this game and then all of a sudden this song came on the jukebox from across the room because I must have been doing something right. And I was like, oh my God. And it's just all, you know, it's just like all 80s music and whatever. And I liked the references. They did a lot of pop culture, like music references, but then they also did a lot of like score references in the score.
Yeah.
Which is cool, which would be a thing that I would be really interested in watching it again, just to like try and pick up on more of the score cues.
Well, yeah, Alan Silvestri did a good job of giving us those little callbacks to the thing they're referencing.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of nods.
Yeah,
for sure.
And this is one of the first, and I think that this is one of the first, or one of the most recent times Spielberg has worked without John Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of weird that he's not working with John Williams on something. But he's doing a lot, and he's doing a lot of John Williams references.
Yeah.
Also, there's like no Star Wars references in this movie, which
They
Spielberg
couldn't afford them.
I think it was more. I
think it comes down to money, dude. You can't.
That's not what Spielberg said it was. I just don't think I don't think there's a point.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Star Wars is right in the front of everybody's mind right now, anyways, because we are constantly talking about Star Wars now for the next forever.
Well, that's my point.
It doesn't need it. Yeah. I don't know. There was some cool references, but there was I saw Master Chief a bunch of times. Yeah. I saw things from Overwatch several times, and I was like, why? Why is Overwatch so popular? And I think a lot of that stuff is market research. They're trying to be okay, we have to put in references that our main demographic of people are going to be super into. And I think a lot of that is not necessarily just in the US. I think it's also abroad, because we've talked about this before with, these big budget, action, stupid movies or whatever. A lot of times now they are not just pointed at the US markets. They are pointed at
China.
Yeah. They're pointed at China, really, honestly.
Well, let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about my favorite part of the movie and probably your favorite part as well.
Oh, totally.
Who is Carl Kolchak?
He's a reporter.
Now that is news, Vincenzo. News! And we are a newspaper. We are supposed to print news, not suppress it.
With the INS.
What's an INS?
Independent news service, sir. Founded in 1904 by Enrico Paluzzi.
Who seems to have a nose for the strange and unusual.
Well, last year in Las Vegas, I uncovered a series of murders that turned out to have been committed by a vampire.
And what is the Kolchak Tapes?
It's a podcast.
All about Carl Kolchak.
What's a Kolchak?
The Night Stalker.
And where can you get it?
On iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at www.kolchaktapes.com.
As foolish a game as any that Gory the Ghoul could make up.
Movies have become a portal to a vast and growing pop culture universe, but you don't need to go over the rainbow to get your pop culture fix. Just head to Rainbow Comics, Cards, and Collectibles. They are your one-stop shop for comics, toys, posters, games, and more. Not a pop culture nerd? No problem. They have something for everyone, including a wide array of sports cards, collectible card games, even memorabilia. Stop by one of their 2 locations today. The flagship location at 3310 South Minnesota Avenue, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or their newest location at 1501 Pine Lake Road, Suite 17, Lincoln, Nebraska. Most importantly, don't forget to add them on Facebook for pop culture news, weekly live videos, and special events.
Here's what some people are saying about the Projection Booth podcast.
Week after week, I'm mesmerized by the focus given great films and questionable films alike. But every episode is a learning and entertaining experience.
This is hands down the best movie podcast. They cover so many different genres across so many years, from obscure movies to blockbusters.
If there's only one podcast about movies and cinema that you listen to, make it this one.
The Projection Booth Podcast, with new episodes available every week at projectionboothpodcast.com.
All right, we are back and we are talking about Ready Player One. So my favorite part of the movie, probably I'm going to assume it was your favorite part of the movie as well, is the second task that replaces the... What is it in the book?
Oh, it's the... God, what is that game? Zork?
Zork, yeah.
Yeah, Zork is the second challenge.
You guys play real life Zork in third or first person something, right?
Yeah, he has to gather all the clues and then he has to blow the whistle after he gets all the clues. But then this is where it gets more complicated in the book, is there is a task to get the key, but then after you get the key, you have to open up the gate. And so there's 3 keys and 3 gates. So there's essentially 6 challenges that you have to do.
And in the movie, it's just
3. So I can see why they would simplify that, but at the same time, it does take a lot of the puzzle solving out of the book. They also didn't do the flick syncs, which I thought was really an interesting idea that they had in the book. And this challenge, I guess, sort of replaced that. And I actually really liked the way that they did this. But yeah, the second challenge was the Shining challenge,
which is the best thing named, and that is part of Ready Player One in either book or movie.
Oh yeah, easily. This is the coolest thing.
And then
easily the coolest.
It kind of jumps the shark at the end just a little bit because
kind of.
They never show Jack Nicholson, which
No, but I'm glad that they don't.
I mean, sure, okay, I guess. I mean, kind of. It's weird to talk about The Shining and not show Jack Nicholson. That being neither here nor there. This is the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They give you a lot of the overlook. They give you the twins. They give you the elevator with the blood spilling out of it. They give you the woman in the bathtub. They give you the maze with Jack chasing you.
They give you room 237, just like the nod to it. They make a point of showing it before they go into the room, which is the woman as a zombie, which is what they turned her into in the movie. But
they give you the painting or the photograph, but instead of Jack, it's Halliday.
It is the best part of the movie because it feels so interesting, and you want to know what happens next. And it's a loving recreation of The Shining in a way that also feels interesting. And most of, I would say, compared to The Shining part of this film, most of, if not all of the references fall flat compared to that one.
Yeah, I think that was the one that was like, that's the one that they spent their time on and thought out and went like, oh, this would be so tight. Like,
and what a surprise!
It's easy to do, like,
works.
Yeah, it's easy to do a car chase. Like, you know, everybody loves racing games. Like, racing video games are like a big deal or whatever. And it's easy to just be like, cool. One of the challenges will just be like a racing game, but like the most impossibly hard racing game like of all time, and you just like can't beat it or whatever. And visually, that's a cool thing that you can do in the movie that would be like pretty hard to do in a book.
Because let's not forget, that's not in the book either.
No, none of the challenges. There's one challenge in the movie that's in the book, and they totally switched the order of it so that whatever the last challenge in the movie is finding the Easter egg in Adventure, that's like the first challenge in the book.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like the first, it's like the opening of, it's how you open the first gate.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
That's right.
Yeah. You're trying to fact check me?
No, I'm not going to fact check you. I believe you. Problem is, I'm having a hard time keeping the two straight anymore.
Yeah. No, there's so much that happens in the book and in the movie that it's hard to tell which one comes from where because they're so different.
Right. Which, again, is why I've been telling people that are going to see it, like, there's no point in you reading the book ahead of time.
Yeah. It literally, my roommate was telling me, he's like, oh, my girlfriend's reading it. She wants to read it before the movie. I was like, it doesn't matter. The movie is so different that it defeats the whole purpose of reading the book to go and see the movie.
It may benefit you to not read the book if you like the book before you see the movie.
Yeah.
If you like the book and you see the movie and the movie is wildly different than the book, you may walk away from the movie not liking it.
Yeah. I mean, just because all the stuff that you wanted to see that you liked from the book isn't even in the movie at all.
Yeah, it's just all different. But again, the Shining recreation is the best part of this whole Ready Player One anything.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, they recreate The Shining down to everything.
Yeah, down to they have a timer going on the challenge, and the timer is pages coming off the stack of the typewriter that say all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. But instead of being all weird and different like they are in the movie, they're all shaped like keys in Ready Player One. And so like as the pages sort of like fly off the stack, it's like a countdown. It's like your timer. You know, you only have 5 minutes or whatever to complete the challenge. And like shit like that is fucking cool. And I don't know if I couldn't tell at certain points if they were just overlaying the characters from Ready Player One into shots from the actual movie The Shining, or if they just recreated shots from it. Because
I think they had to have recreated them because those aren't like the original girls who play the little girls. That's not the original woman. I think they just recreated it like digitally.
Exactly. And they did such a good job that it looks like they are scenes straight out of The Shining.
Which they put in effort into the second challenge, and that's a bummer because none of the other challenges did I come away from them thinking like, oh, they really put a lot of effort in. And so that's the bummer. And it's just it's a disappointment that the movie is not any deeper than the book. It's not like the book was very deep, but the movie just it takes even the character development from the book out of it completely. So there's none in the movie. There's zero. And so you have the kind of just empty pop culture references and boring characters. So it's nice to look at, but you're not really invested in the story.
Yeah.
Because you know that Wade Watts is going to get the Oasis at the end. There's not like a question of that.
Yeah, he's gonna win. He's gonna get the girl. Like, everything's gonna turn out okay. Like, you know, even like everybody lives, you know, except for maybe his aunt and his, aunt's shitty boyfriend or whatever. But in the book, like, one of the main like high scorers, Daito, in the movie, well, he's got the same name in the book, fucking dies, is straight up killed by IOI, like in the real world.
Yeah, but yet in the movie, they give the character of Sorrento actually more to do, which is surprising.
Yeah.
Like, the company of IOI in the book is more terrifying, but the character of Sorrento is actually given more to do in the movie.
Right, exactly. And it's like, they don't go into super deep the inner workings of IOI in the book because it's told from the perspective of Wade. So you don't know what's going on behind the closed doors. And they give you a bunch of that in this movie, but to little or no added effect. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could have done nothing about that and just had it been like this shadowy organization that you only know what they allow you to know about. And that might have been more effective than like giving you this sort of peek behind the curtain. I don't know. That was sort of like just unnecessary, I think, at the end of the day.
What did you think of the fact that Halliday is in the game now, which is something they only put in the movie?
What do you mean?
Well, at the end of the movie, it's implied that Halliday died but is still around in some form in the Oasis, because they never talk about that in the book. In the book, he's clearly dead and it's just an avatar. But in the movie, they kind of signal that there's more to Halliday's avatar in the Oasis that Wade ends up getting the egg from at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that he's like not quite an NPC, but not a player either.
Because he says Halliday is dead.
Yeah, Halliday's been dead for 5 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's something that I was like kind of confused by when I was watching it, because I was like, okay, this is a thing that has only happening in the movie that didn't happen in the book, and I don't understand why.
Because I think Ernest Cline was giving kind of a heads up to the direction the next book is going to go, because he's obviously working on another book.
He is?
Mm-hmm. Ready Player 2. I'm not making this up.
I mean, all right.
Are you surprised?
No.
Yeah. So I think that's the direction that's going. And that may be kind of what's in the next book or in the next movie. Because if they make another book, they're going to make another movie.
Yeah, maybe.
Obviously. But it's just weird. It felt kind of strange, but not in like a bad way. It was just kind of like interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand the significance of why they would do that, because it just kind of thrown in there like at the very last second. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but whatever. Yeah, it's very Ghost in the Machine of them, I suppose.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like, the nod. They're saying like, okay, Halliday is now the Ghost in the Machine. He's, whatever.
Like I said, it doesn't particularly work very well, but it is interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, is the whole thing about it. Is like, you're going to bring it up at the very last second of the movie and we're all just going to go, what? And then that's it. So I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Where does this film rank for you in the ranking of in the hierarchy of Steven Spielberg films?
Oh, wow. Low?
Because that's what everybody keeps talking about. It's like, oh, where is this in the Spielberg films? Because obviously he's such he's such a notable director. He's one of the great American filmmakers of the 20th century.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Indiana Jones is probably at the top of the list, and then Jaws, and then maybe E.T. in there somewhere, and then Jurassic Park also up there, and then this is like way down towards the bottom of the list. It doesn't feel like a Steven Spielberg movie at all.
No, it feels like a director for hire film. They got Steven Spielberg, though, which means they got all those references. They were able to get every single reference they wanted, because who's going to say no to Spielberg? Come on.
I don't think I noticed one Marvel reference.
There wasn't. There was DC references.
Well, yeah, they talk about Batman within like the first 30 seconds of the movie.
And Nolan Sorrento looks like Superman.
Kinda, yeah.
He's got the little hair curl.
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice any DC or Marvel references, so.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just another thing where it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to hit up Disney and say like, hey, Disney, we're making this movie. And like, it would be cool to have references to like some of your characters that you own, because you own everything, including Star Wars and Marvel and all this other stuff. And Disney's just like, no, fuck you guys. Like, you guys can't use any of our property.
Right.
Because like a big company like Disney is just going to tell them to go fuck themselves, instead of being like, or they'll just make the price so high that like nobody in their right mind would ever pay for that shit, because why the fuck would you?
Spider-Man swinging around on screen for a second, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to have the Silver Surfer fucking surf in, say what's up, and then peace the fuck out? Like,
because that's pretty much all the references in this movie are.
Yeah, no, you're not going to do that. Like, no.
I would say for me, this ranks pretty low for Spielberg, and this is probably like bottom quarter. You know, it's not as bad as Hook. I know people have some sort of like weird love for Hook all of a sudden.
Dude, I have loved Hook since I was a child, so...
Yeah, but it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, but it's like still a fun movie.
But it's not a good movie. You know what I mean? Just because it's... I mean, this movie's not a good movie, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, but like
those
Hook,
things aren't mutually exclusive.
But Hook also feels like it's a fleshed out story that actually works. Like, just because it's like over the top and super campy and like, you know, like feels like...
And Dustin Hoffman plays Hook.
It feels like extremely sort of like staged and weird and whatever, but like...
And Dustin Hoffman plays Hook. This shit's awful. Come on.
Besides the point. It's, you know, whatever. I like that movie a lot, but that's also one of those movies that like I will just like forever because I liked it when I was a kid, and it's the only reason that I like it, probably, is because I've liked it for, you know, 25 years or whatever. So,
right.
But yeah, I don't know.
What's your favorite Steven Spielberg movie?
Oh, Indiana Jones, all the way.
Which one?
The first one.
Safe choice.
It is not a safe choice. That's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, that's my point. It's a safe choice. It's a good movie.
It's fantastic. Indiana Jones.
Yeah, no, it's good.
But I don't know. What's your fucking favorite movie?
Either Jaws or Jurassic Park. Obviously, again, safe choices. They're both good movies.
Yeah, duh.
That's the thing about Steven Spielberg. I mean, what's a non-safe choice for Spielberg? War Horse? Bridge of Spies? Color Purple?
Yeah,
Hook?
I don't like any of those movies. Except for
you know, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, Catch Me If You Can is actually pretty good.
The Terminal, you know what I mean? Like, those are like less safe choices. Like, or you could even say, I mean, one of my favorite, it's kind of slow, is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That movie's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
You could say 1941, but that movie I feel like the movie's getting a lot more love now than it used to. Or like, or even go Empire of the Sun with, you know, baby Christian Bale in a movie. I mean, no one's gonna sit here and say Steven Spielberg makes fucking bad movies, because he really doesn't.
He really doesn't. His track record is very good.
Yeah. And so like, even a bad Steven Spielberg movie like this one is still okay.
Yeah. It's still like a solid, like if I was going to give it a grade, I would be like, this is a C+.
What would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it like a 3.5-ish, 3.5, 4.
Yeah, I'd give it a 2.5.
Oh.
So we're still right there. I mean.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 3.5. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just like, it's fun. It's entertaining. The references are cool. It's well put together for the most part. I think it's just like poorly laid out. And I think a lot of that is not necessarily the directing. I think a lot of it is probably the writing of it. And then, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's like, you know, nobody's really given anything to do. And I think that might even include Steven Spielberg. Like, what the fuck is he even given to like direct in this movie?
Well, that's the real question. So that's the real question. What do you think the film has on Rotten Tomatoes?
Maybe somewhere in like the 70 percentiles. I would say 60 or 70 percentiles.
75% Ready Player One is a sweetly nostalgic thrill ride that neatly encapsulates Spielberg's strengths while adding another solidly engrossing adventure to his filmography. I don't know about the later half of that statement, but I'll agree with the first part.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like, I mean, I don't know, but coming from people who have read the book and then watched the movie expecting one thing and got something completely different, maybe the way that we are seeing this and talking about this is sort of different than other people who never read the book and don't know the story at all and are just getting the story just from the movie. And I think...
But don't get me wrong, the movie still doesn't have a lot of fleshing out of characters anyway.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Yeah. Well, let's take another break and we'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast.
Do you find me attractive?
Of course.
Would you want to sleep with me?
Yes.
Then why don't you?
Because I love my wife, and it isn't worth jeopardizing my marriage.
sorry. I shouldn't have been so rude. Thank you for picking up.
Been to the police, but I didn't tell them about Bobby. I wanted to talk to her first.
Brian De Palma, the master of the macabre, who shocked audiences everywhere with Sisters, Carrie, Obsession, and The Fury, now invites you to a showing of the latest fashion in murder. Dressed to Kill. Michael Caine, Angie Dickinson, Nancy Allen, Dressed to Kill. Murder, made to order.
That's right. On the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about yet another Brian De Palma film. We're going to be talking about Dressed to Kill. We're going to be joined by Mike Wallace, our resident employee of Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, who just released a movie called Demon House, and
I watched it.
Which is nuts.
It's pretty weird. It's really slow. It's like the most serious episode of Ghost Adventures. Yeah, right?
Isn't it? It's real, right? Like you walked away from it saying like this is not fake, right?
I mean, I don't know. It's as not fake as any other episode of Ghost Adventures is. Right. So that is to say, maybe it's not fake.
Well, that's the thing with Ghost Adventures is a lot of Ghost Adventures requires you to, as one might say, buy in. You have to buy into them as people, and then you're able to kind of suspend possible doubt of, was that noise actually a noise that said hey, or was it just random noises in the environment that sounded like someone saying hey?
Sure. And a lot of this is, sort of, I don't know, it's all speculation. It's all sort of just you're seeing things through the eyes of the people that want you to see the things that are supernatural and fucked up and weird. And so that's the angle of the story that's going to be told. And I don't know. I mean, I watched it and I liked it. I was like, oh, this is interesting and kind of fun and
it's
like
less
weird
cheesy than the show.
Oh, it's way less cheesy. It's like,
though, to be fair, the more recent episodes of the show are very similar to Demon House.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like I've gone back and watched older episodes and they're very like campy and kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it.
I've watched a lot of Ghost Adventures in my life, and I watch it not because I'm looking for people who are actually finding ghosts. I'm watching it for comedic value because those guys hunting ghosts together is the funniest shit ever.
They're funny. Yeah.
They're funny. They're funny unintentionally or intentionally, whatever.
It's entertaining, they're and so they're succeeding.
It's
one way or another,
entertaining,
right?
And those guys have made a bunch of money doing Ghost Adventures for the last, they've been around a long time,
about a decade.
Yeah, so whatever they're doing, it's fucking working. I mean, I fucking watched the show. Goddamn.
Until then, though, Eric, what have you been up to?
Not a lot, man. Just let's see. What have I been up to? I have been doing nothing, just hanging out, just watching movies and stuff, getting prepped for a bunch of new movies that are all coming out like in the next couple of weeks. Like the next few months are going to just be insane. With just
something
movies.
Every week. A new movie worth watching every week. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Kulturestash. You can follow Eric on Twitter at Tychomagnetics. You can follow our parent website, Kultureshocked, on Twitter at Kultureshocked. Head on over to Kultureshock.com/Kulturecast to check out more information about today's episode. You'll find links over to iTunes where you can rate and review the show, and to Patreon where you can kick a couple dollars our way. Donors get access to unreleased episodes, DVDs, and the chance to guest co-host a Kulturecast. Big thanks to you, Eric, and Wovoka, and my buddy Justin for the intro-outro music for the Kulturecast, and we'll see you on the next Kulturecast. God damn it, nothing? Fuck you.
You You know how we do, I'm just two-step, drink in my right hand, phone in my other hand, getting to the money, oh man, two-step, posted with the crew,
Yeah.
You know how we do.
Hey, two-stepping, know what I'm saying? 1, 2, 1, 2. Benjamin, aka the Black T, you know what I'm saying? Catch me with my crew every day. Two-step. Oh, my phone in my other hand, like, hello? Oh, get into the money, man. Yeah.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.